Hello, fellow readers. Welcome to another live event by Deviant Fun, and welcome to all of you who are live. If there's anyone out here, I'm not sure. So hello, if you're there. I didn't quite figure out how to see who's logged in. This is not like Zoom or any other thing like that. And also welcome to our offline viewers who probably are watching a movie that hi Migash, good evening. You are probably watching a movie that I just stumbled upon whilst coming here to the office, where a guy was in a date with a girl in a restaurant, and they were asking those questions of get to know each other, right? And she asks him what he's reading or what his favorite book writer was. I don't know for sure what she asked. And the guy says, "Well, I'm reading a book by a guy named Ed Brubaker," and my eyes were glued to the screen. It's a book called Criminal, and it's quite good, and she immediately interrupts him and says, "You know that you're not impressing me by saying that you read comic books, right?" And that just made me mad, because it's true. It's still true. There's still a stigma with comic books, that if you read comic books, then you're reading children's books. Yeah, but unfortunately that's still true. Still true. I still feel the need when I say that I run a comic book shop to say that comics are not like they used to be. Now they're way well. There's comics for everyone, and I'm not kidding. It was really showing on TV a few minutes ago. Yeah, but the guy had good taste. Ed Brubaker. Come on, excellent taste. Yeah, so like I was saying, I still feel the need to say, okay, but comic books are not what they used to be. It's not only superheroes. It's not just for kids. There are horror comic books, police, crime, whatever you name it, fantasy, but they're for all audiences. I still feel the need to do that, because I see it in people's faces. What? Comic books? You read comic books, really? And you sell them? Yeah, I actually do both. So, hope you're as pleased as I am, because it's Friday. Maybe it's Saturday for some of the online viewers that might be online and that I don't know that they are. Like I said, I still don't know how to do it. So let's start and browse through the books. Now here I have first. I start with the hardest one to get. It's the second time we get it, so it's back in stock, and it's Epic Collection: The Amazing Spider-Man Giant Size Edition. Just kidding. This one is this guy is the little one. This is a normal book size. This by the way is Time for Frank and His Friend, and it's a small book like comic strips, 1 page or 2 page short stories where a boy imagines that his little stuffing toy has life, and he talks to him. I think he is called Frank, if I'm not. Yeah, Frank and His Friend. No, yeah, I'm not sure if Frank is the doll or the boy, to be honest. Yeah, but this is such a tiny book. Just teasing you. Well, The Amazing Spider-Man, that's one of those books that you can't find in the big ones, in the big retailers, because it's out of print for some time now. It's volume 21 from Amazing Spider-Man. Yeah, just for adult readers. Yeah, DC Black Label, for example. Yeah, absolutely. But people don't know that. normal people, let's call it, they don't know that. Yeah, this is volume 21, so it's Spider-Man's adventures from 91 to 92, where his enemies band together to make his life a hell. So it's Otto Octavius pulling the strings behind. And yeah, 6 guys against 1. That's not fair, man. So we've got the Scorpion attacking, Black Cat helping Spider-Man in his adventures, trying to give lend a hand or two, better saying, because Spidey can't deal with everything on his own. So there's lots of space here. I don't know why. Though I like the coloring, and the paper feels like old paper. They've kept it mostly for having the colors look as they should, I imagine. But I don't understand this big margin here in the bottom. It really, yeah, it's a waste of space, but also must be to preserve the dimension. Oh, here it's bigger. Perhaps it's another issue that was originally bigger. Let me try to flip slower because I keep forgetting that the camera sucks. Here you have Mary Jane showing more than she intended. And here is the sextet. So this is really hard to find. So we try to get some epic collections that are out of print, so you guys can buy them, because it's not easy. If you go to Amazon and etc., you won't find these books there. And if you go to eBay, you're bound to pay with your pants and shoes and whatever. This one we're selling it at the normal market price, which this retails for 42 euros, and that's exactly the amount that we're charging for it. Yeah, this is one big classic. So let's leave Marvel. What's the year of that run? Yeah, I think I've already. The Sinister Six, yeah. I already said that, but I wasn't paying attention to the comments. 1991 to 1992, Migas. Yeah, it's been some time. It's been some time now, but actually the art looks very good. I like it. I like it. Let's change to something different. I'll try to do this change from brand to brand, just not to keep it less tedious. But I do have a lot of Marvel here. Most of the special ones are Marvel. So what is new here? Not this, because this has been in the store for a long time. This is 30 Days of Night Omnibus. Yeah, this is an omnibus, not a hardcover, but still an omnibus. So this is by Steve Niles, one of the masters of horror in comics. I've read this, and we've done a review in the channel about it. Liked it a lot. The art is very peculiar. It almost doesn't seem drawn. It seems that there are some images seem to be compositions. That images are pasted one on top of the other. For example, the backgrounds. So it's got a very particular art style by Templesmith. What is his name? Yeah, Ben Templesmith. Yeah, and this is a story of horror, of course, because it's Steve Niles, and it's about vampires, and it's a really dark story, and it's about a town that gets attacked by the vampires. This town is way up north, I think. So they get 30 days without sun. That's why this is called 30 Days of Night. So I think they're near the poles. And so the story ended with the vampires being defeated once, and then they attack again, but they managed to pull them back, but they're not completely run over. The vampires still exist. So there's this Omnibus Volume 2 will not feature some of the characters of the Omnibus 1 because they got killed. Yeah, that's a good reason not to show up in this book. But there were one or two characters that were ascending there in power and willpower and also power. And they had a fellow vampire, a renegade one that was helping them. So that guy was probably here in these stories. The artwork, as you can see, is a bit similar. It has some differences. Let me see if it's still Ben Temple-Smith. Yeah, it's still Ben Temple-Smith doing the work, but it looks a little bit different. Still, I like it. It's unusual art. I like it when it's a little bit, when things are a little out of the box. Not every time does it work, but I think in this book it does. And yeah, I guess you're very right about that. I think there's a movie and I never saw it, and it's probably just about the Omnibus 1 and not the 2. It must have gotten out before the Omnibus 2. That's my guess, just guessing. Because Omnibus 1 has enough content for a book, and I think that the 2 for a movie, I meant the 2 omnibuses might be too much for a movie, and maybe they just took some inspiration and didn't actually follow the story. That sometimes that happens. It's not always a faithful adaptation of the book, so it might be very different, and it's just the idea of 30 days of dark and people getting eaten by vampires and trying to kick them back. So as you can see, I love this coloring. Look at this. It's a pity that this is so small, this illustration, because the background is so beautiful. These colors of a low sun, like if it's a low sun that's illuminating the place. Yeah, but if it's as good as Omnibus Volume 1, then yeah, I'll be very glad if that's the case. Here we have a very different illustration. It almost looks like paintings. Yeah, this sounds interesting. Of course, I will read it because I really enjoyed Omnibus 1. So yeah, it's definitely on my to-do. Next, skipping up to Matt Fraction. Okay, we could be talking about Marvel, but we're not, because Matt Fraction, just like so many other writers, is doing their own thing. In this particular case, through Image Comics, which is the most of the times the creators are using Image Comics to put their books out because of the issues of owning the property of the intellectual property. So what is this book about? So it says here that every morning before dawn, Dee goes to work, her job, deciphering a code hidden in the newspaper and broadcasting it from a radio on a rooftop every day at the same time. The job pays cash, the source is dubious, the benefactors also. The consequences of missing a transmission, it's unfortunate. What happens when there's no code to broadcast? So this is the first of a sequence of 3 graphic novels. We've got book 1 and 2, and I really think I saw book 4 I don't know if they were planning on 3 when they printed this, and now there are 4, or I might be mistaken. Josh Hartnett. Well, that name sounds familiar, and maybe it sounds like a real actor's name. So this is a sequence of 3 graphic novels, and they're co-created by Matt Fraction and Elsa Charretier. Maybe she's French. I'm not sure. So you might know Matt Fraction from Sex Criminals, for example. And the colors are by the genius Matt Hollingsworth, one of my favorite colorists. And the lettering, I should be also talking about it, but I won't. Sorry, letterers. So this takes place, this follows the intersecting lives of 3 women in a dark criminal underground. And so let's take a look at the artwork, because from what I've seen, I haven't picked on this book, so I'm looking at it with you for the first time, but I've seen some images on the net, and from what I remember, the artwork is also distinctive. So let's see, what do we got here? The paper is super thick but non-glossy, so that's what they found better for the type of coloring they were going to do. As we can see, they were not looking for vivid colors. It's a very reduced palette, very pasty. So the paper fits this perfectly. They're really nice looking hardcovers, very small but very handy. And this is how they look like. There are some divided opinions on these books. If you go to Goodreads, for example, and look for the ratings, there are people who loved it, people that felt that Matt Fraction was a bit lost sometimes when writing. Well, I can say, because I haven't read it, but hope those last group of people are wrong, because I like Matt Fraction. It's not one of my favorite writers, must say. It's not in my top 10 or something like that, but he's a very competent writer. So I'm not expecting this to be to have loose ends and dead ends in the story and feeling like it's going nowhere. If that happens, I'll be very disappointed with you, Matt Fraction. I'm just telling you. Yeah, Matt Hollingsworth doing a very different line of coloring from what I can remember. But yeah, still, he wanted to give this kind of vibe to the book, I guess, because he can do things very different and much more complex, but that was not the intent. So here we see another woman, which seems to be in a way harsher situation than the first one. She's been kidnapped and she is hogtied in the trunk of a car. That's not a good sign. So this seems to be a little bit stronger, maybe dealing with violence against women. At least that first part was. I think I recognize the character there from the other book, that black lady. Yeah, but this has an old vibe to it. Even the drawing and the colors do have an old, and the covers too. They look old books, but they're not actually. Yeah, I was thinking of that, and I was about to say it. It does remind Darwin Cook, doesn't it? Yeah, I thought so too. I didn't say it because it was a thin line there, but it does. The simplicity of the figures and even the representation of the faces, it does remind a bit of Darwin Cook's work. Next in line, Copperhead. Okay, this is a series that we got. I don't know where I placed volume 1. I have to look for it because I can't find it. So Copperhead is by Farber, Gulewski, Riley, and Maurer. Let's see who writes. If I don't know if it's 2 writers or 1 writer and 2. Yeah, it's just 1 writer. So it's Jay Farber. The art is by Scott Godlewski. The colorist is Ron Riley. And letters by Thomas Maurer. There, I said the name of a letterer. This is volume 2. I wish I would prefer to show volume 1, but what the hell. So this is about let's read it. So the Smash Hit series returns with the 2nd volume. What starts out as just another Friday night in Copperhead quickly escalates into a rip-roaring adventure featuring a botched state, a band of outlaws, and a desperate chase across an alien desert. From what I know of, this place gets a new sheriff, and I think it's a female sheriff, and maybe it's this character, and she has to deal with some unrest and some problems here. It seems that they coexist with aliens here. So she's probably inheriting the place from a precedent person, and she just inherits all the crap. That's what I imagine that it happens. And as you can see, it's a completely different style of art with shiny colors. The paper isn't super quality, but it's a very nice paper. Yeah, it looks to have it's sci-fi, and very probably in the future, this must be some kind of colony, some Earth colony. And it's from Image, yeah. I forgot to change brand. This is also from Image Comics, and by the way, I'm not saying the dates, but this is not something that just came out. This is from 2014, 2015. So it's been around for some time. It's just been on our radar for some weeks or months, and finally we got good prices for it. So we went and bought the whole series, the whole 4 volumes. And I do like this type of fantasy that doesn't, if it doesn't involve too much magic, then I'm okay with it. And it seems that it doesn't. The fantasy is more around the surroundings, the technology, the races, aliens, and etc. But it doesn't seem to be involving magic and etc. That's not really my beach. So I guess I'll be fine with this one. Yeah, I got very curious when seeing this series for the first time, and I heard some recommendations around it. So it's a shot in the dark, but it looks promising. Sci-fi. I like sci-fi. I like murder and crime more, but good sci-fi is always a blast. Yeah. This is Copperhead. Okay, let's move to the next one. We've seen the kind of art. I think that's enough. Let's move on. And let's change brand. Let's go back to Marvel. And yeah, let's start with one of the big books, one of the big buys. And it's Marvel Knights by Joe Quesada, the Omnibus. So this is quite a thick book because it's an Omni. So let's take the jacket, the cover jacket, and see who's there. Who's there? It's Daredevil. And let's see if it seems that the image continues on the back, on the other back. Yeah, it's a beautiful panel here with Daredevil. Very beautiful image. So let's see what this comprises of. First of all, let me put the sleeves back on. And let's try to read the small print. So it collects Daredevil from 0 to 13 and number 1.5, number half. Okay, it's not 1 nor 0, it's half. Daredevil Father 1 to 6, Marvel Authentics Daredevil number 1, and material from Marvel Knights Double Shot number 1 by Joe Quesada, Kevin Smith, David Mack, Jimmy Palmiotti, Garth Ennis, Rob Haynes, Dave Ross, Danny Mickey, Richard Eisenhower, and more. So lots of big names here. And let's start taking a look. Here's the table of contents. As you can see, Guardian Devil, the Double Shot, the Father Story, Devil Discussed, Cyber Comic Can Play, and here is the small print. Okay, 2018, and yeah, blah blah blah. 1998. The original, yeah, it's from the 90s. These are stories from the 90s, which were published and collected in the 2000s. Just look at this, Daredevil diving in the city. Yeah, the paper is thick. You can see that the colors are very beautiful, but the paper is a little bit thick, a little bit thin. But if it wasn't, you couldn't handle the book because it has a lot of pages. So yeah, you have to take that into consideration. It couldn't be super thick paper. There's the great panel here. The artwork seems incredible. It's mostly focused on Daredevil, as you've seen, but it's got crossovers with Spiderman. Also, I guess Electro will show up here. Is this Doctor Strange or some evil guy? Here's Bullseye, one of his biggest enemies. Yeah, the art just looks great. It's 90s art, but very good 90s art. At least for my taste. And I'm loving the color. So this book retails about the cover price is $100, and if you go find it on the big book wrecker Amazon, that's what you'll pay for it. You'll pay 99 euros. Whilst we're planning on selling this at 70-ish, 75, 76, around that. So it's a considerable saving, and with the warranty that you'll get your book in one piece. Yeah, I didn't know that about you. Daredevil is your favorite character after Spiderman. Yeah, I guess that's very usual. If you like Spider-Man, you tend to like Daredevil because they also have a lot of drama, right? The Guardian Devil wasn't it there in the table of contents? I can't remember. But if you're saying is Guardian Evil, yeah, it's got Guardian Devil. No, it starts with Guardian Devil. So yeah, you're covered on that. Yeah, you saw it later on. Yeah, I'm not paying full attention to the comments. Yeah, it's awesome, right? So there's a lot to read here. This must have at least 700 pages, if not more. But I'm counting on. I'm pointing to 700-ish pages. Let's skip a little bit further to the end to see if the artwork changes a lot or not. Because as you can see, I don't think this is all extras, but it is. Whoa, this is all extras. That's why the color was different. Transitioned from black to white. Okay, lots of extras there. Who's complaining? Yeah, it's pretty consistent. I've lived through a lot of the book, and still we see consistent art. Now it seems to be getting a little bit different, but nothing too relevant. It's looking more rough-edged. Great panel here. It really shows the despair. Daredevil the Father. Here we have it. So like I said, a very special price for this book. Very special. I can only find it on Amazon and nowhere else, to be honest. And it's pricey there. We'll be able to sell it cheaper. Aha! Now we see differences in the artwork. Definite differences. This looks like art from TV series, right? That's what it recalls, at least to me. But very, very different artwork, no doubt. An introduction by Ben Affleck, who has played Daredevil, of course, and then lots and lots of raw sketches. This has an incredible amount of, maybe these are short stories, but it's an incredible amount of extras. This is huge, a huge section of extras. Echo designs by David Mack, and some words from the master of covers, by Michael Bendis, Damon Lindelof, you name it. Yeah, this is a very nice looking book at a very affordable price. Yeah, let's put it to the side and let's keep on going. So it doesn't take, this time it doesn't take as much time as it took the last time we had a presentation of books. There's the volume 1 from Copperhead. Okay, it's not lost. After all, it's just misplaced. So, welcome to Copperhead, a grimy mining town on the edge of a blackwater planet. So, not on Earth, like I said. Single mom Clara Bronson is the new sheriff. Like I said, she's taking the place of a sheriff that was there. And on her first day, she'll have to contend with a resentful deputy, a shady mining tycoon, and a family of alien hillbillies. Really? Aliens have hillbillies too? And did we mention the massacre? Well, you'll have to read it to know. So Brian K. Vaughan is saying about this book, Copperhead is the best image debut of the year and my favorite new comic. Of course, this was back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. But still, it's a big referral from Brian K. Vaughan. First printing was on 2015. The single issue formats were also on 2015, it seems. Yeah, so it's basically what I said. I didn't say anything real stupid. She's taking the place of a former deputy and having to deal with all the crap that's happening there. Okay, glad I found it. Then we also got Deadly Class by Rick Remander, one of the numbers that we are missing. I think now we're missing just one. For you guys that I know that you, Migas, you know the book already. Yeah, the Omnibus looks great, and even if you're seeing it live, it's even more impressive. So Deadly Class is about, for you who don't know, you offline viewers, sorry. It's about a school for training assassins, and it's written by Rick Remander, so that's a big thing to say. I haven't read the whole series, just Volume 1 and Volume 2, and I must say it's a captivating book. Though it deals with teenagers mostly because the students are very young, it is a mature book with some serious dialogues and some serious action, good plot, and the art is, well, debatable. If you like these screens like this, just plain green with the characters. I wish it wasn't like that, must confess, but yeah. You don't notice that much when you're reading because you'll be sucked in by Rick Remander's words, and the art still looks great, especially with this playing with the panels that you can see here in the action scenes. Yeah, it's a series to follow up, and it's not by chance that we were trying to get the whole set of volumes. I'm not sure if we have them all already, but I think we miss one still. I think. Now let's get to something different from El Capitan Publishing, and this is work by David Lapham, and it's Stray Bullets. Well, it's quite popular. This is just the part one of the first volume called Sunshine and Roses. And so since it's the first one, let's go to read the summary. So this is the story of a boy, a girl, and the ultimate scheme of revenge. Revenge, that's a good theme for comics. Battle of their life in Baltimore. Sure, it wasn't always above board, but who wasn't raising a little hell and having a good time? One bullet later, friendships and loyalties were shattered, and life became a living nightmare. It was then that she met Orson, and Beth hoped that this wide-open innocence was her way out. Instead, she dragged him down into her hellish prison, a prison with bars made of fear, guilt, and watched over by killers armed with guns and hearts of stone, a prison which seemingly has no way out. So both David and Maria Lapham are Eisner Award winners. They are behind titles like Murder Me Dead, Amy Race Car, and of course this noir series Stray Bullets. They're from Arizona, by the way. I was trying to see if there were recommendations from no names, but no. We've sold Stray Bullets Uber Alles edition, which is a very thick book that collects, if not everything, at least almost everything from Stray Bullets. It's one hell of a thick book. And we got interested in it, and now we're going to start getting more and more books from David Lapam, especially this Stray Bullets series. So it's like manga, no color. It's a pity. You only have the first two. It's time to buy the rest of them with us. So this is David Lapam work. I think he both writes and I don't know if Mariah draws. It doesn't really say. Well, it does the cover colors so I imagine it draws. Otherwise, you can't effectively paint if you don't know how to draw. So this seems to be a noir with a very different feel. It doesn't look very noir because perhaps it's not colored, but the story should be. We've got the ingredients here: revenge, constant tension of being murdered, psyche problems affecting the people that surround you and bringing them to your own hell. So people at unrest with themselves. So it's got all the ingredients for a good noir book. And yeah, that's Stray Bullets by David Lapam. Be sure to check it out because I must confess my ignorance, I don't know the title. And let's skip to something different. Let's skip to Garth Ennis. And this is the Chronicles of Wormwood. Jason Burrows here doing the illustrations. This is volume 1 and it's put out by Avatar Press. So let's read the summary. Armageddon and the Antichrist from the creator of Preacher. Yeah, that's something you really need to read if you haven't. Garth Ennis unleashed on his most audacious comic book epic yet. Okay, that's the kind of sentence we see in every comic, right? Wormwood is the Antichrist, his dad is Satan, and his demonic powers help him fit right into New York. His best friend is Jesus, a mentally challenged man who just isn't performing many miracles these days. The pesky Armageddon is coming right up, and it doesn't look like Pope Jaco is going to be any help in stopping it. Ennis drags the whole world into the gutter with his trademark razor-sharp dialogue, biting wit, and the stunning art of Jason Burrows, all in full color. Let's see if the art is really stunning. I don't like the cover, to be honest, so it doesn't start well for me. But it's got Garth Ennis in the writing, so I'm bought. Yeah, but the artwork really looks different from the cover. Fortunately for me, because I don't really like the cover. I think the colors are all wrong, too shady, too dense. Yeah, lots of dialogue, thinking balloons. This seems to have a lot to read. Garth Ennis excels at dialogues. He does like to play with religion and symbolisms of those religions like Jesus and Satan and etc. And is known for depicting sex and everything that makes part of an ordinary person's life. Here we got nuns doing nasty things with the bishop, the devil himself in flesh. Yeah, this should be a wild ride by Garth Ennis. That's what I'm expecting. Nothing more, nothing less. And I was expecting it to look more outdated, but the artwork doesn't look outdated at all. Because this is not a new book. Where are you, little printing? 2007. So this is, yeah, Well, it's not old as hell, but it's been some years now. But it does look good. It's not flamboyant. Okay, that's something unusual that I never saw in a comic. But this is Garth Ennis. This man has no boundaries. He knows no boundaries. Yeah, that's it for Chronicles of Wormwood Volume 1. If it gets to be real good, then Volume 2 it will be. So let's get back to Marvel, to one of the big books. Another amazing Omni. Look at this. This is Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Yellow, Blue, Gray, White. So yellow being Daredevil, blue being Spiderman, gray being Hulk, and white being Captain America. Let's start taking out the sleeves. And this looks very, very nice. Let's see the back. I don't think it has... no, it actually... Yeah, it has continuity. It's a single image. Yeah, let's take... This is the back, by the way. A charming mixture of action and romance with beautiful watercolor art from Sale. 4 tales of love, loss, and the heroes left behind. So for Daredevil, let me see what Jack Murdoch's murder set into motion an explosive chain of events that culminated with a new superhero swinging out of New City's Hell Kitchen, the blind acrobat Daredevil. So it seems to be the Daredevil's origins. As for Peter Parker, he didn't know what that meant when Stacy would only get to spend the rest of her life with him. This is a story how Spider-Man first fell in love, or more appropriately, how he almost didn't fall in love. And as for Hulk, before we knew Bruce Banner was the Hulk, before Bruce had confessed his love to Betty Ross, before the Hulk was green, there was Hulk gray. And for Captain America, reborn as a man out of time, Steve Rogers longs for those days when Captain America charged fearlessly into battle in World Wars with his best friend Bucky Barnes at his side. Odds staked against them, lives on the line, taking the fight to the greatest evil of all. Yeah. So let's take a look inside the book. Yeah, this cover looks amazing. Truly amazing. And it feels so soft. Look at this. It starts wonderfully with Daredevil here doing some acrobatics and dodging bullets. So Marvel Comics presents Daredevil yellow, Spider-Man blue, Hulk gray, Captain America white, and I remember Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. And guess who? Matt Hollingsworth in the colors. My favorite guy. So, small print, 2018, that's when this was published, this Omnibus. So an introduction by Tim Sale, written in 2014, an introduction by Stan Lee, the man. Chapter 1, Excelsior, here's the greeting from Stan. The championship season, dedicated to Stan Lee, Bill Everett, and Wally Wood. Okay, here we have again another acrobatics panel by Daredevil. Love the colors. They do fit the character. He goes out by night mostly, where is like a vision gives him some advantage. Yeah, this looks very good. Look at this. The Long Halloween. Yeah, I read that and I loved it. I don't like this uniform of Daredevil. I never liked it. This yellow is it's I got a thing with yellow. I really love much more I mean the red one. It really fits him best. We see the Fantastic Four there because they sometimes cross paths with Daredevil, a common enemy with Spiderman, and that's also why they meet lots of times. So that takes us to the question of: do I love Spider-Man? Will I love Daredevil? And the other way around? Yeah, you probably will. You probably will. Even slides through the buildings in a very similar fashion as Spidey does. Let's just see a little bit. Introduction by John Romita Sr. And now we're on Spider-Man, Chapter 1. Here it is, the blue Spider-Man. Beautiful scene here with the rose splashing in the water. Hobgoblin there, or Green Goblin, better saying. I always have trouble distinguishing between the two of them. Rhino rampaging against Spidey. And this slightly oversized format, the art, it's completely different, the sensation. It's just a few inches, but it does make a difference. Now let's try and switch to Hulk. Here is Hulk. Where do you start, Hulk? I want to see the first page. Yeah, he was getting bombarded there. Marie Severin doing the introduction. Well, they've put some Sin City pages here. Okay, here's the Hulk. Is in fact gray and not green. Yeah, but these stories look great. Look at this panel. It's a bit old-fashioned, but good old-fashioned. Is this the original Iron Man here? Ooh, his armor really sucked. That's for sure. Okay, we've seen Hulk. Let's try and skip to Captain America. And it seems that I hit the first page. Captain America, here we go. Steve Rogers and Bucky in the Great War. Here he is fighting Nazis. Hit him hard, Bucky. That's what he says. And here are the saloons where the Nazis would go to have some rest, and the soldiers from both sides to get some women and some booze to get through the horrors of war. Yeah, and that we're missing. So Captain America White. Yeah, it's the last one. There's Red Skull taking a punch right in your face. Serves you good. Serves you good, mister. So this book retails, the price cover for this book is, let me check my appointments. Well, it's actually 91.50 euros. And guess what? That's the price you find at Amazon, one of the single places where you can still find this. They're selling it at 99.62, so almost $100. And once again, we're targeting for 70-ish euros for a brand new, perfectly conserved copy, which will reach your homes just like you are getting it directly from the store, because we take really, really good care in package. We hate with all my heart. I hate damaged books. It's the worst thing that can happen to me is getting a damaged book. I get pissed. Okay, next one. Let's go back to Image Comics. Sorry, migas, I sometimes forget to the Spider Blue. It's fantastic. You've read it, right? Is that it? So the next series is Sport of Earth, Volume 1 and Volume 3. So this is by Image Comics, like I said. Zach Kaplan, Andrea Muti, and Vladimir Popov. So it has a touch of European comics, I believe, and this takes place in an age where we've been visited by aliens, and instead of them trying to eliminate us, they want to take advantage of our resources and set some kind of colony, which will be called the Port of Earth. This Port of Earth will attract other alien races and etc. I've talked a bit about this book before. Alien visitors may not understand human forms of communication. Do not interact with them. It may lead to deadly situations. If you see an alien visitor, respect their rights and contact the ESA for their safe return to port. So it seems that they should be confined to the port and not mingle with the rest of the humans. I imagine there's a special force that oversees that it doesn't happen. And like I said in my previous comments about the book, I see that there's lots of room here for political confrontation, economic shenanigans, trying to deal with the aliens behind the scenes, conspiracies, etc. And of course, the aliens crashing with the humans, both physically and economically. And I really love the artwork. I love these colors. And the perspectives, the machinery, it all looks really, really, really good. I do think it has a touch of European style of drawing. I really like it. I'm really eager on reading this. This is one of the books that I'm most excited to start reading. This volume 3 has a few nicks. That gets me mad. Not a big thing, but still I like my books pristine, and I like you to get your books pristine too. Here we see the aliens conversing with humans, cohabiting peacefully, I hope. Not. Because we want some conflict, right? We want some action. Yeah, this almost reminded me of Mobius, this panel. Let me put it. the way that the crowd is represented with all those small figures. Definitely taking some inspiration from Mobius there. Yeah, but this book looks astonishing. It's got some nice reviews, so I must say I've got my expectations high. That's not usually a good sign, but we should keep them, I wouldn't say low, but conservative. Let's keep with Image Comics and to a more recent title. At least I think it is. First printing. This is the first printing here, 2014. Originally published in 2014 and then collected later on. Okay, it's older than I thought. But it's got Matteo Scalera, and Justin Jordan writing. Matteo Scalera doing the drawing, so we know it's going to be good or excellent. Here we have it. And who's coloring? Moreno Dionisio. Moreno, by looking at this page, congratulations. You've done a great job. Look at this. Awesome. Let's just read the summary to know what we should expect from this. The man involved in his wife's death must now die. So it's a story of revenge. It's a very common subject in comics nowadays. All of them must die. And that's all it says. Okay, that's not a very elucidative summary. Yeah, the book will speak for itself. I really dig this artwork. It's super modern, but detailed. The color is applied with high efficiency. It really makes the art stand out. It seems to be a little bit violent. It must be rated mature. It's got lots of fighting and action scenes. Seems like something good for a TV show adaptation. Who knows? Maybe there's already one. I don't know. But yeah, it's got crime, murder, violence, and I hope a good plot. I'm hoping for that. So it's a guy seeking for revenge. I don't know if he's a hot-headed or a cold-blooded one. I tend to like the cold-blooded ones, the ones that do all those plans to get the bad guys and get them good and make them pay for what they did. In comics, that's okay. In real life, it's not. But in comics, it's a good relief to see the bad guys getting what they deserve. Yeah. This looks awesome. Artwork. What do you think, Migas? Did you like the artwork? Oh, you have the volume 1 and you loved it. Yeah, it seems really, at least from the artwork is worth the reading. Then next, not switching back to Marvel yet, The Sixth Gun. Let me take you out of the way, sorry. The Sixth Gun. Well, we found a good deal for Volume 4, or Book 4, like they call it, A Town Called Penance. So The Sixth Gun is a fantasy western by Cullen Bunn and Brian Hurt doing the drawings. Also Tyler Crook, that you might know from Harrow County, and Bill Crabtree, which is also a very competent guy. You probably know its name from other titles. I read the first volume. It was very interesting. It's got that Western vibe, but with sci-fi elements to the mix. It's got a good story. It does have a little bit of mysticism, a little bit too much for me. with all the guns having powers and etc. So they're kind of magical powers. That turns me a little bit off, but not enough as to not enjoy greatly the first book. So I really intend to get all the books into the shop as soon as we can find good deals. This one was a good deal, so we took the chance because it's in our plans to have them all. And they look very good. I like the artwork done here by Scalera and also Taylor Cook and etc. So it's not just Scalera doing the work. So this is volume 4. I'm not going to talk much about the story apart from volume 1, where there's guys, multiple factions trying to collect the 6 guns of power to overcome the rest of the contenders. It's also a story of revenge to past relations that weren't very well dealt with. Well, I'm leaving that. I was looking at the book, but I'll leave that to the end because it's a massive book. Now, another thing that we want to get, but it's getting so difficult to find, volume 1 and 2. This is Nailbiter, the murder edition, which is the hardcover edition of collected comics, because we've already read Nailbiter 1 and loved it a lot. So Nailbiter is about a community with where all the people there are either serial killers. Well, it's like a cradle of serial killers. And it's quite not very well understood why the hell that happens. And one of the most notorious one, which was elevated and lives freely, let's call it, in this town, is the Nailbiter. The nickname comes from his distinctive mark on his victims. And it's really a compelling story with... for example, the Nailbiter is a very dual personality. Let me just have some refreshment here because I have some red wine. Don't judge me wrong. I just taste it. I barely drink it. It's just to hydrate. And that's a common trend on YouTubers that talk about comics. There's a very known guy that does his Fridays, where he always drinks different kind of drink, like bourbon or whiskey or etc., and he invites one of his friends just to talk about comics, and they always say what they're drinking there whilst they're talking. Thought I'd do the same thing too, because talking does get our mouth dry. So from what I remember, the artwork here is looking a little bit different to the better, but maybe it's either it got better through the subsequent volumes, or my mind is betraying me, because this is excellent. Love everything from colors to drawings to perspectives to scenarios. It really has some dark mood. Yeah, it's about serial killers, so what should we expect, right? Let me see if I'm not scrolling too fast. No, it's on focus. Today it seems that the camera is... I lifted it up a little bit so it wouldn't get out of focus that many times. I think that was the problem in the last video. So like I was saying, these books are out of print almost everywhere. So when we saw that we could get Murder Edition Volume 2 at a non-speculative price, we just grabbed it. And we'll keep continuing. We'll continue to try to find 1 and 3 at decent prices so we can have the full collection. It's got a huge cover gallery here. Huge. No, it's because it has the original scripts too, and some sketches. No, final artwork without the coloring. So this is a great series that you should. Yeah, here are the Buckaroo Butchers. So Buckaroo is the place, the nest of serial killers, and you've got some of them here, and the question mark: who's the next one that will show? Because this creepy cat character, the Butcher of Buckaroo, appears already in the first volume, if I remember correctly, by the end of volume 1, and he seems to be a very bad ass. And the thing about this is that the Nailbiter character plays a double role, while at the same time is a serial killer. He really gets to help the people that are trying to solve the murders and keep peace at bay. So he is a very interesting character. We never know what he's thinking about, so that gives it a little bit of spice. Then Image Comics, still one of my favorite series of all times, Postal. And thank God that they didn't stop there. They're long. Brian Hill and Matt Hawkins in these volumes together with Raphael Lenko. I'm not sure if Raphael was in the original Postal series. So it's Postal Deliverance. So it takes place after the end of Postal, which I'm not going to say what happens, but let's say that the main character inherited some tasks very different from the ones where he started at. He starts as a mailman, a simple mailman at a small town, which is ruled with an iron fist by his mother. But as time goes by, her mother starts to weaken, and she feels the need to pass the reins to his son. So that's what happens, and that's where Postal ends with, I keep forgetting his name, god damn it, where Mark is actually in charge of everything. And so Postal Deliverance dwells on that to see how he manages to run the city. By the way, the city, like Nailbiter, is a closed city where the artwork looks very different. Where criminals have some kind of Eden, and they can live their lives peacefully there. Some of them are in peace with what they've done. They've made peace with their crimes and their misdoings, and they're trying to do their best to live an honest life. But it's a town very hard to manage. There's always danger lurking. In Postal, it was Mark's father who had abandoned the community. He was the founder of the community, but then left, and his mother took control. But then he comes back, and all hell breaks loose. There are lots of very strong secondary characters, one that Mark falls in love with, for example. And Mark is really the guy that stands out in this comic because he has Asperger's syndrome. So he doesn't feel emotions like we do. And that leads to very awkward situations, sometimes laughable. But is not to be taken lightly because the man really has some brains. and he's a brilliant strategist. He always finds a way out of the shenanigans that the family runs into. So I'm super eager to start reading this because I read Postal completely. A long series. It's not that long. I read it so fast. I read it so fast. It seemed short to me because I love it so much. When you like things, they don't really feel like a pain. We see definitely some evolution in the artwork. It looks softer. The colors are softer. So I'm guessing the inker is really different. Matt's face is somewhat different too. I don't like that, but maybe they're trying to make him older. Maybe that's just it. But it's very competent artwork, and I expect Brian Hill to excel in the story too, because he hasn't failed me in 8 or 9, 10, 8, 9 volumes. So don't you go down on me now. Don't you let me down, I meant. Because I'm really excited to start reading this follow-up. Yeah, Postal Deliverance, Volume 1 and 2, they're already here, ready for the taking. And now for something completely different coming from Titan Comics. You don't see many Titan Comics out there. This one is called The Beautiful Death by Matthew Bablé. So it's an European style comic with a non-European style format. It's wider but not as tall as we're used to. So it's a sci-fi punkish scenario. So humanity has been overcome by insectoid aliens from outer space. And these ones, unlike the ones in Port of Earth, they really want to take over the Earth. Humanity never thought they would lose to it, but the fact is that they did. So there are some rogue people trying to survive in this transformed world. And we'll see that the art, I've peeked into the artwork. The artwork is very unique. It really excels on landscapes, those wrecked buildings and etc. I don't like the faces, the way they portray faces, but that's just me. But look at this, the buildings look awesome, equipment, cars, etc. looks great. The colors are excellent. By the way, I forgot to say, I don't think Matthew Bablé did this all on his own. If he did, congrats, man. Written and illustrated by Matthew Bablé. Yeah, it's a one-man band. Congratulations, Matthew. Yeah, I don't like these weird faces. Yeah, that's just me. I prefer realistic faces. But this book does look awesome. It's a piece of art. I really hope the story lives up to it. It's been recommended by one of our customers, yes, because we listen to you. We're modest. We know that we don't know everything. Far from that. So we always love getting recommendations from you, and you, Migas, have done that a lot in the past. Let me see what you said here. Yeah, 3 special editions. Yeah, but they're out of print. Out of print for so long. Maybe they'll reprint it. Let's hope. So this is a story of surviving, much like The Walking Dead. Let's say that's what I expect here. There are huge creatures somewhat here. I don't know if I lived through any of them, but some of the insectoids are really big and menacing. Here's a large, huge caterpillar there. Here's the street filled with them. So I really like the landscapes and the coloring. But these faces, they turn me off. They put me off. But that's not gonna stop me enjoying the book if the story is good. And it's a feast for the eyes. Look at this. Definitely interesting, definitely European like. That's what it's expected in the form of art. It's more artistic, right? Instead of realistic, it's more artistic. Yeah, this arrived just yesterday. And now, last but not least, and a great deal, also a great deal for you buyers. Look at this. Look at what we got. We got Marvel Knights, The Punisher, Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon Omnibus. This is one hell of a big book. Look at it's massive. It's got 1,000 pages. It's probably one of Marvel's thicker omnibus. Maybe War of the Realms surpasses it. I think it goes up to 1,200 or something like that. So let's see what's under the sleeve. Nothing too fancy, but it feels like a bit like fake leather. This is the spine, which you can see. Okay, this is better than just the Punisher logo on the back. And in the sleeve, we've got all the issues there that it collects. And it collects Punisher 2000 in the year 2000, 1 to 12. Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe, Marvel Knights Double Shot number 1, and Punisher 2001, 1 to 7, and 13 to 37. So that's a lot of reading. And it's Garth Ennis. Who can write the Punisher better than Garth Ennis? In my opinion, no one. But that's my opinion. It counts for what it counts. What? Yeah, it's a big book. You're right. You agree with me. He's definitely the best writer for Punisher. No doubt. At least for me, I have no doubt on that. He was born to write the Punisher. So we've got lots and lots of names like Jimmy Palmiotti, Steve Dillon, again Steve Dillon, Palmiotti. Let's see if there's super big names here. Joe Quesada, Doug Braithwaite. Yeah, lots of names. Original material published. So this is the second printing that took place in 2017. And it retails, well, you actually can't find it in the big stores. Amazon has it, but you have to order it and hope that they can get it, because it's not really for sale. They say, okay, order it and we'll try to get it. And they will try to get it and sell it to you at 99 euros. We managed to sell it at 89.95. So, and it's here guaranteed that you'll get it. Once again, like I said, in pristine, super well packaged. It will get to your home as it left the store, unless the carrier does some really, really serious mess up. It will have to be a very serious mess up, because we really stuff the boxes with lots of protective, like bubble wrap, big bubble thingies, hard carton, reinforcements, everything you can think of, we use it. We've learned from our best suppliers. Some of them do really know how to package, and I'm not talking about Amazon, of course. That's the example to run away from with all our strength and will. Yeah, this is one big guy from Russia. You can take the Punisher. Yeah, it seems he got him. He got him right. He's getting a beating. Maybe he can get the Punisher. You'll have to read it and find out. There she is. All this cracking that you hear is the glue. Well, it's not actually glue, because this is sewn, but it's the sewing cracking up, because it has never been opened. It needs to be stretched first, but I'm not going to do it. I'll leave it to the person that buys it. If he wants, I can stretch it for him. Some people don't even know what it is to stretch Omnibus, but they should stretch them. They don't need to be very thorough, like some videos we see that they do it page by page. I think that's insane. But at least a few pages at a time, it really helps to get a good eye here with a good curve, and eliminate the gutter here in the middle. So this is Punisher. For Punisher fans, this is a must-have in their collection. This has the best moments of Garth Ennis writing the Punisher. So, and it's at an affordable price. Well, you can't ask a book like this to cost 30 euros or something, right? Because this is 1,000 pages or more. But I think we did manage to get a very good price. 75, 76 is a very, very good price for this book. Way below the cover price. And adding to that, you can find it only on eBay. At least that's with the resources that we have, we can only find it at the eBay. And you don't want to go there and spend your salary on one book. Yeah, and that's it. We've reached the last big book. That, once again, I'll show you the thickness of this thing compared to an epic collection. Just look at the difference. Oh, this camera really sucks. Jesus Christ. Time to remember just, we have the Return of the Sinister Six, but let's remind you of the epic collections that we have here that you can find some of them in the large retailers, but not all of them. So we've got the Punisher Kingpin Rules, X Factor, Genesis, and Apocalypse. All new, all different X Factor. The Silver Surfer, the Infinity Gauntlet. The very first beginnings of Daredevil, The Man Without Fear. Then a later stage of The Incredible Hulk with Ghosts of the Future. This actually looks like something I would like. I must take a look into this book because I might like it. I'm not a big old classics fan. I'm more a modern reader. Here we have The Avengers, Under Siege, featuring Buscema, Englehart, Fingeroth, Roger Stern, Steve Ditko. So it's also 86 to 87. So the Avengers in their prime times or early stages, let's call it that. Then we've got another epic collection by the Punisher, Capital Punishment, which I'm also very keen on reading. 1992 to 1993. This is volume 7. The Punisher hits Europe. Leave us alone, Punisher. Yeah, and that's it. To summarize, I didn't forget. I'm just looking around me. Yeah, I didn't forget anything. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Migas. You're always a faithful viewer. Thank you for joining me and for all the comments to make it this more dynamic. Unfortunately, we're still not there with the number of participants. We'd really, really love to hear what you guys have to say about these books, but yeah, maybe next time. Let's see, let's hope. So I'll take just another sip at my red wine it's important to get hydrated, right? So for everyone, have a very nice weekend. It's never too many. There's a lot, but not too many. There's no such thing as too many comic books. Yeah, but I think we have very excellent prices for those big Marvel Omnibus because they're not just big. They're well reviewed. They have excellent stories, excellent casts, and the prices are really really special for you. Yeah. So thank you. The same to you and to every offline viewer that may still view this during the weekend. Have a very nice weekend. Have some good reads because I intend to. So, Deviant Fun out in 3, 2, 1, 0. Bye bye. Thank you for watching.